Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in and for joining us today. This is going to be our very first session of the brand new year. Very excited to be with you, thrilled to take you through the product assortment that I have with me today. My name is Kristin. I am the National Educator here at Sage. Grateful for another year to be sharing product education with all of you. So without further ado, let's jump into today's products. So, sort of playing off the theme of the new year, a fresh start, what I always say is I'm not really a big fan of New Year's resolutions, but what I am a big fan of is intention setting, of thoughtfulness, of just intentionality in the way we look forward to taking care of ourselves, to supporting our wellness, to really optimizing our health and well being as we head again into the new year. So, today I'm going to talk about 8 products total. I'm going to break this down sort of into 2 sections. The first 4 products we're going to talk about today, these are coming to us from our Liquid Sunshine collection of products. So for those of you who know and love Liquid Sunshine, you know these are bright citrus products. For those of you for whom these products may be new, I want to share about the mood boosting properties, the way that we use these products to sort of uplift the spirits. So when you think about Liquid Sunshine, you think about that idea of feeling happy, of feeling boosted. I don't know about you, but where I am here in Vancouver, we've been having some inclement weather. We've had a lot of snow in the last few weeks. We've had these dark, dreary days. I had a little bit of a chuckle this morning because we have a bright blue sky and a lot of beautiful sun today. So I think we called that in perfectly for today's session. And so, in that vein, what you're thinking about is bringing products into the home that are going to help you feel boosted and really, again, bring that revitalization, that actual liquid sunshine into your space. So, I'm going to start today with the brand new product that I talked about. It's the first time you're going to see it. This is our Liquid Sunshine Hand Cream. So I couldn't be more excited about this product. This is the perfect time of year to introduce something that's deeply nourishing, really hydrating for the skin. And again, it's joining this collection of well-loved products in that beautiful citrus scent. I want to share with you the ingredients that make up the base, and then we'll talk again about the essential oils. So show it to you up close and personal. It's a nice tube format. I really love the opening there. It just allows for you to disperse as much product as you need. I'm going to say a little goes a long way with this product. I've been testing it rigorously all week, and I'm saying just about a pea size amount is all you need. Spreads beautifully on the skin. If you've heard me talk about skin and body care products in the past, you know one of my biggest pet peeves is anything sticky. So I'm not a fan of products that are sticky, if they're greasy or heavy, and I'm telling you this product passes the test with flying colors. So it's absorbing wonderfully into the skin. It's not leaving any residue, anything that's going to prevent sort of typing or using your phone or anything like that, but the skin really feels soft, it feels silky afterwards. The 3 ingredients I want to talk about from the base. The first is shea butter. Shea butter, really commonly included in body lotions, body butters. It has such a fantastic ability to support with reducing inflammation. So skin can become inflamed when it's dry, when it's chapped, particularly when you're washing your hands so many times. So really protective in that sense. Another ingredient is argan oil. So argan oil is actually nice and brightening, it's toning for the skin. It adds that extra layer of moisture and almost like a barrier protectant, but again, it absorbs nice and easily. The third ingredient is oat kernel extract. So this is non-gluten, non-soy. This is also about barrier protectant. So when you're thinking about the hands, you're really looking for that protection piece. You want to lock moisture into the skin. You want to prevent any sort of moisture loss. And again, you want to make sure that you're not having anything greasy or that's sitting heavy. And that's sort of preventing the idea of moisture being able to be locked in if you're sort of losing it through that residue. So that's what I'm loving about the base of the product. In terms of essential oils, you have these beautiful citrus notes. So think tart, think zesty, think fresh. I love the orange in the blend, also brightening for the skin. You have an oil here called Palmarosa, and this is a little bit of an outlier. So it's not a citrus, it's more like a floral. So it actually comes to us from a grass. It's these long, beautiful grasses, has a bit of a rose-like note. So just a really, really faint sweetness in this formula. And then lime. I love lime for cleansing, for deodorizing. So overall, it's just creating an incredible product that I'm really loving to support my skin. So that again is the brand new Liquid Sunshine Citrus Hand Cream, product number 1. So the first four, like I said, we're staying in the Liquid Sunshine family. I'm going to introduce to you all the options we have. Number two is a body care product. This is called our Jute Joy. I'm going to take it out of this little reusable plastic package here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. So this, like I mentioned, is a bath and shower product. Think about this for cleansing and exfoliating the body. So that's what it looks like here. You have what you would actually use as your handle when you're in the bath or shower. A great little cotton piece here that we use as a hook, so you can use that to hang. And then you see how it has that look of a really natural fiber. It looks something like a burlap, and what it's actually called is jute. Jute is an incredible sustainable fiber, so it comes from a very hardy plant. What we love about this plant is it has a really low environmental footprint. So it's even more sustainable to grow than something like cotton. The plants actually require a considerable less amount of water, but it's very, very sturdy. It's very durable. You can use it for all sorts of things. So when it's nice and dry like this, it has like a little bit of a roughness to it. But what's fantastic is when you fully saturate it in the bath or shower, it becomes beautifully soft and provides a revitalization, a nice stimulating exfoliant, but nothing that's going to tear the skin or add any abrasion or anything that's going to be irritating. It's just a really beautiful sort of invigorating feel for the skin. What's inside are these beautiful little soap pieces, and of course we've scented them with the Liquid Sunshine. So this has that really inviting, really uplifting citrus note. You're going to see oils again like that orange, so really sweet, really uplifting. You have the lime, cleansing, deodorizing, a personal favorite of mine. There's actually a touch of lemongrass in this formula as well, so something a bit more long lasting. What I love about the Jute Joy is that you just have the option to use it in a number of different ways. So again, if you want to use it in this handle where you can, if you just want to use it like this, you can. You can use it as your sort of full body cleanse. If there's just an area in particular that's feeling extra dry that you want to use, in that case, you can. One of my favorite tips and tricks is when you've come to the end of the lifespan of your Jute Joy, I actually use mine just to give a wipe down to my shower. So my walls, my tiles, even the tub, just that little bit of essential oil that's left from the soap inside is great at removing essential oil residue. So if you have a propensity like I do for a bath, and I love using my massage oils in my bath, my different bath salts, that can provide a little bit of residue that actually collects in the tub, but like attracts like, so the essential oils are going to help remove that easily. So just a quick little tip and trick. So that, like I said, is product number 2 in the Liquid Sunshine line. That's our Jute Joy. Next, we're going to stay in body care, and this is going to be, again, specifically for the hands, so pairs beautifully with the new hand cream. That's our Liquid Sunshine Foaming Hand Soap. So again, if you've watched my sessions over the last couple years, you've heard me rave about how much I love our soaps when we're looking at this increased amount of hand washing. So when we know that we are washing our hands, we're sanitizing our hands so many times throughout the day, they're really prone to that dryness. And sometimes that dryness, it just sort of escalates. That can become chapped, it can become inflamed. That's where you can even get broken skin sometimes. So it's really, really important to treat your hands well. 2 key ingredients that are not included in our soaps that I think are so important are synthetic alcohols and synthetic fragrance. So this is where you have a really high likelihood of irritation, of that inflammation being created on the skin and just sort of drying out really quickly. We know that they aren't necessary, those ingredients, to support a really cleansing, really freshening, really deodorizing soap. So that's what we've created here. In the base, you have some deeply hydrating ingredients. So think about saponified coconut oil, a known regenerative ingredient for the skin. You have castor oil, so highly, highly nourishing, really hydrating and supportive. Some saponified sunflower seed oil as well. And then again, when you're thinking about that zesty, tart, and fresh aroma, I love every time I sort of release a pump of this at the sink. It just sort of fills the air for that quick moment with a beautiful citrus burst. Feels so soft and creamy on the skin. And then again, think about essential oils like grapefruit, bergamot, lime, and orange. That's what's going to be included in that product. That's number 3. And we're going to finish in the Liquid Sunshine family today with our tried and true, our number 1 love. Just get it centered for you there. That's our liquid sunshine diffuser blend. So when you are looking to fill your space with something that just makes you feel uplifted, it makes you feel boosted, it really gives a lift to your spirits and helps you sort of take on the day, this is a fantastic way to start your day. I love liquid sunshine diffusing through my space during the workday. In particular, like I said, on those dark gray mornings when it's feeling particularly dreary and you just want to bring a little bit of light into the space. The oils in here, grapefruit. So grapefruit's a known mood booster. It has that tart zestiness to it. Bergamot is well regarded as what is known as a nervine, and that's like a nervous sedative, so really supportive of your nervous system. If you're feeling worried, if you're feeling anxious, if you're sort of having racing thoughts, it can be really supportive. You have a nice sweet mandarin in the formula, and again, that just gives you a little bit of an emotional boost, but also a nice bit of relaxation. And the lime, of course, that I mentioned again, that's just an oil that resonates very well with my system personally, and it just makes me look forward to having that in my air. So with a blend like this is what we call top notes. And what that means in aromatherapy is that they are the notes that your nose senses first in a blend. So they're very light, they're very crisp, they're very airy, they kind of come right off the top. So you can use a little bit extra of this product if that suits your fancy. So you can think about adding maybe 10 to 15 drops. And also if you have a diffuser that runs for a very long time, you can think about topping up every couple hours as you go through the day to just keep that scent nice and fresh. All right, let's get to the second half of our session. I'm taking us through 4 different remedy roll-ons today. Some of these you may be familiar with. I hope I can provide you with some new tips and tricks, some different ways to use them. When we were putting together today's session, we thought about products that people can use to really elevate their overall health and well-being. So when you're looking at a new year, you're looking at a fresh start, you're thinking, like I'd said earlier, really intentionally about how you want to support yourself. And maybe you're looking to transition from some synthetic products you have in your collection. Maybe you're looking to sort of grow your awareness of natural products and different areas of your life that they can really bring support. So I curated a little selection of products today that I think you're going to be happy to learn more about. The first is our Sleep Well. Sleep Well sort of says it right in the name. This is encouraging you to have restful, awesome sleep. We know that sleep is really at the heart of everything that is supported by our health and wellness. It is crazy when you really dig into sleep and you learn how important it is for all other bodily functions. Sleep really is at the center of the way your body digests food. It's at the center of the way your body uses fuel. So it uses different energies that you get from food. It actually supports your mental health in such a strong and important way. There really isn't enough ways to say how important it is to sleep well. So if you know that you are struggling, so people who experience chronic insomnia, chronic fatigue, if you have trouble falling asleep, if you have trouble staying asleep, so you're a person who wakes up multiple times through the night, if you know that when you wake up in the morning you just don't feel rested, it is very likely that you have a sleep condition. And of course there are a number of things you can explore with your healthcare practitioners. You can try different things, but I really love to suggest a sleep routine that includes some essential oil-based products. There's a lot of great research, a lot of really, really studied oils that are in support of bringing restlessness and sort of like that anxiousness, that tenseness, sort of out of the picture and really inviting peace and calm into the system. Let me tell you about some of the key ingredients. So the first I want to talk about is valerian root. It's a very, very well-known herb. You can find valerian root in teas, in tinctures, in herb form, and just sort of across the board, well-regarded sleep. That's what its main use is. One thing I always like to share is that valerian root is a stinky, stinky herb. So it's a really cool plant and it brings us all, like I said, these really cool benefits, but it has a little bit of a smell. So what's really cool in aromatherapy is you have the opportunity to blend different essential oils to sort of offset that note and create something really pleasant, really inviting to the system. So we start with that valerian root, then we add some other well-known oils. So number one is lavender, the most well-reputed essential oil. I would argue to say it's probably the most common essential oil that exists. Well reported, again, for inducing calm, inducing peace, really giving relaxation to the system. Another important oil is neroli. So similar to what I mentioned earlier with bergamot, also known as a nervine, a nervous sedative, Really important for sleep. A lot of people report that they can't sleep because their mind is racing or their thoughts are sort of going. So knowing that you can give yourself a little bit of a mental break. There's also jasmine in the formula. Jasmine isn't necessarily blended in too many products. It's actually quite a rare and precious essential oil, so I love its inclusion here. It has a really musky floral note, so again, a beautiful blend in terms of the scent, but it also has these really sensuous and again, sort of like balancing properties that all make sense included in a sleep formula. You also have two chamomiles. You have Roman and German chamomile, very well reputed again for their relaxation properties. So you put this all together, you have this incredible product that helps unwind both the body and mind, help you drift off to dreamland, wake up without any grogginess, any fogginess, things that can come to us from synthetic sleep products. And you really have so many options in terms of how to use it. Some of the areas I may suggest you can try with the forehead, the temples. I'm a big fan of products along the jawline, particularly if you clench your teeth, if you grind at all. You can try the throat, the chest, and then our community's tried and true favorite way to use the product is actually on the soles of your feet. There's a couple of reasons for this. Number one, the skin on the bottom of the feet, it's thin and it's permeable. So what that means is it really allows the product to enter easily. What we know from that point forward is that blood in our body, it flows towards the heart. So it's sort of starting all the way at the bottom, moving its way up, and that can act a little bit like a time release for your system. The second piece is some people are really particular about scent, and especially at something like bedtime. So if you want something that's away from sort of the face or the area in which you're going to be inhaling deeply and you're going to be more sensitive to smell, why not put it at the furthest end of your body? So on the bottom of the feet where you can still have the benefit of the product, but you're not going to have it sort of in your scent space. So the world really is your oyster, lots to consider in that realm, and that's roll-on number one. There it is, Sleep Well. Number two, I'm going to talk about, this is the very first product ever formulated for us at Sage. We're going to be celebrating 30 years of Peppermint Halo in 2022. So that is our well-loved product there. In Canada, this product is licensed as a headache remedy. I always like to share that this little wonder in a bottle can do so many things to support your wellness, to really help elevate your experience in the idea of increasing your overall holistic health and well-being. Think about a headache. It's centered sort of in this area. So think across the forehead, the temples, even back into the crown. For a lot of people, they'll experience this tightness and this tension in the neck and shoulders as well. This is a particularly cooling product. So when applied topically, that means onto the skin, it's actually going to increase blood flow, bring blood to the surface of the skin, and that's where you get that topical cooling feeling. So a lot of times, heat is really what resonates in this area when you're experiencing a headache. You want to sort of counter that and offset that, and that's where the cooling effect comes in from the product. So you really can think again along the hairline, the forehead, the temples in particularly. I always like to pull my hair back and get a little bit deeper into that area. I just find that my headaches sort of tend to center there. This is another one. You can go all the way along the hairline. So start behind the ears here and move to the back. The neck, back of the neck, over the trapezius muscles, the shoulders. What I find for me is that will give me a little bit of awareness to actually hold myself a little bit straighter, sort of put your shoulders back, and that can help relieve tension and tightness as well. So that's sort of some of its primary uses. Some of the other ways that I use the product, I love it for the feet. So if you think about a foot bath, if you've been on your feet all day, if you're wearing uncomfortable shoes, again, the feet, they're hardworking. This is a really important part of our body that does a lot. It really does the heavy lifting for us. So what I'll do is I'll add a few drops to a lukewarm foot bath, really just allow that to relieve tension. Some of the key ingredients, so it's called Peppermint Halo. That gives us one of the ingredients there, but there's so many other important ingredients in the formula. There's eucalyptus, known as the breathing oil, so really supportive of giving you those deep breaths. Sometimes when we're feeling pain, something like a headache in particular, we get shallow in our breathing and we're sort of closing in a little bit, so it's going to encourage us to open up. You have vetiver, a really well-reputed sedative, so a nervine. What's important to know about that is that pain is stressful to the body. So you want to sort of bring yourself down, you want to give yourself some relaxation. There's also rosemary, a nice warming stimulant. So that's where you get a bit of that combination of warming and cooling, comes primarily from your peppermint and your rosemary. So all these really cool ways to think about the product. Something else is almost just about temperature regulation. If you tend to run really hot and you want to just give your body a bit of balance, you can again use it in those areas like over the back of the neck and the shoulders. I'm a big fan of just a touch, and I really mean this, a tiny, tiny touch on your finger and under my nose. I'll just sort of dab. I take some nice deep breaths in. For me, this product I find is really particularly relaxing. That's sort of been my personal way to use it over the last number of years. So like I said, you may already know Peppermint Halo, but there might be something new that you've learned in terms of how to use it. So that's roll-on number 2. Number 3, what we're going to talk about today is stress. My friends, this is our stress release roll-on. I hate to say that at this time of year, just sort of in the landscape of the world at this point, there's a lot of stress. People are holding a lot of heavy feelings. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that we really don't have answers for. And how this manifests in the body is stress. There are both emotional and physical manifestations of stress. Some people are prone to both. Some people sort of have the experience of one or the other. What I love is that this formula was created really specifically to sort of address all of these different aspects of stress and really help bring the body back into center. So when you think about stress, think about, I'll just list out some of the symptoms. See if some of these land for you. Some people experience that racing thoughts, a really busy mind. You're sort of running through this checklist, whether it's things on your to-do list, things that you haven't done, things that you want to do. It can keep the mind feeling busy. This then can create some physical manifestations. So again, you can sort of clench, your jaw, you hunch your shoulders, you really bring some tension into the body. This can also bring in that idea of shallow breath. And we know that we need to bring long, sort of deep inhales, really intentional breath into the body to keep it moving optimally. This can, of course, affect your sleep. It can affect your digestion. Like, you really see how all of these things are intertwined, right? So let me tell you a little bit about some of the ingredients. The key is lavender. We talked about this earlier in the Sleep Well product. Really, really, really well reported for its ability to reduce tension. So really reduce, however that looks for you. That can be physical, that can be emotional. So thinking about bringing the body back into homeostasis, back into its center and into its balance. It has that really inviting floral note, really well tolerated by most people. So a great place to start. There's also orange in the formula. We touched on this earlier as an emotional uplifter and a booster. So when I talk about orange as a booster, it's not necessarily a physical boost of energy. So it's not like drinking a cup of coffee. But for a lot of people, what it does is it helps remove difficult, heavy emotions. So if you're holding things that are really causing you grief or mourning, it can help you sort of feel uplifted in the spirit and move through those places. My very favorite oil in the formula is something called clary sage. Clary sage is a little bit less common. You don't find it in a ton of products. It's what's referred to as a euphoric. The simple way to understand this is it has a very powerful effect on the mind. So again, going back to that idea of racing thoughts, of people who really can get sort of caught and trapped in their thoughts, and that can sort of run away with their day, clary sage can bring this nice stillness. It kind of gives a peace of mind that just gives you like a little bit of a break and a little bit of a reprieve. So I think about this when people are experiencing acute symptoms of stress. If you're kind of right at the top and you're feeling really overwhelmed, this is a really great essential oil to help kind of bring you back into your body. There's also geranium in the formula, which is a well-known hormone balancer. And I realize that word, that hormone balancing, sometimes that can sort of throw people off. But what it really is that anything out of center is a hormonal imbalance. So even a headache, a stomach ache, these are sort of options to let you know about what can also be included as hormonal imbalance. So of course, stress and feeling overwhelmed and just sort of feeling at the end of your rope, sometimes that moves you out of your center. So you want to come back in. You have many, many options when it comes to application here. Everything we've mentioned. So the forehead, the temples, the throat, the jawline is my real true favorite with this one. I'm not a grinder, but I'm a clencher. So I can sort of hear inside myself sometimes that I'm just like pulling so tight in that area. And this again will bring awareness for me. I love it just behind the ears. For whatever reason, that's a soothing spot for me. The wrist is great. A lot of people like the wrist because they can just have sort of a quick scent through the day when they need it. But I want to introduce you to something we call the sage breath, a really simple but powerful and effective breathing exercise that allows you to experience essential oil benefits really quickly. You can actually do this with almost all of the roll-ons we're talking about today. The only one I would say maybe be cautious is peppermint halo, just because it's so strong. So breathing it in can just be a little bit too much for the system in the moment. But of course, with the sleep well, with the stress release, and with the last product we're going to talk about today as well. So this is how you do it. You're going to just take your product, take a clean hand. You want to roll it into the palm of your hand. I like to be quite generous. I want a really great breathing experience here. So I get it nice and slathered on. Then what you're going to do is just rub your hands together. What this does is adds a little bit of heat, a little bit of emulsifying, and that helps activate the essential oils, get them nice and ready for you. At this point, just a little bit of a cup or a tent shape with the hands over the nose and mouth. And what this looks like is a long, slow, intentional inhale in through the nose, hold for just a few seconds at the top, and then a long, slow exhale out through the mouth. So it looks just like this. And then you do your long, slow exhale. I like to do that 2 to 3 times, sometimes 5 times. It depends on what I need. The reason we love this breathing exercise is because this is the quickest way for your body to really utilize essential oils. You have 2 main methods of entry, and that's through topical application, which is applying to the skin, and then through inhalation, so breathing in through the nose. What we know is that when we breathe something in, our body receives it quicker. You're moving through the system here into our olfactory. This is the oldest part of the brain that houses our emotions, our sort of experiential memory. So you can really create these awesome patterns and these sort of like neurons and different ways, through the brain. What they really do, these pathways, is create new patterns of behavior. So your body will become acclimated to smelling something and then reacting in a certain way. So if it knows that every time you breathe in these oils and you have that familiar sort of floral and citrusy and herbaceous scent, and this sort of starts to signal and trigger for the body that idea of like, let's start to relax, let's start to calm down. So you can create that pattern for yourself. And then I like to say it's sort of like a layering effect. So start number 1 with the breath, get that quick response into the body, and then layer onto the body topically. It's going to take a few minutes for product to move into the system, into the bloodstream through the skin, and then you're going to have a little bit of a longer lasting effect. So you have those options that you can think about doing that with any of the products. So that's number 3. That one, like I mentioned, is stress release. And we're going to finish up today with a personal favorite for me. This is our roll-on called Immune. And for our friends in the United States, you'll know this product as Fortify. So this is the hero product in our cough and cold line of products. So this is a perfect time of year to really think about supporting your wellness in this way. If you're feeling run down, if you're feeling under the weather, if you're just feeling a little bit sluggish, you're having some lethargy, think about symptoms of cough and cold. So I think everything from literally having a cough, having a sore throat, having heaviness or congestion in the top of the chest. For some people, this is sneezing, this is sinus congestion, it's pressure in the nose, feeling extra stuffy. It can manifest as headaches, just all of the different ways in which you experience symptoms of the cough and cold season. This product can be particularly relieving. Your key ingredient is eucalyptus. I mentioned earlier the breathing oil. So the idea of really supporting the respiratory system, allowing some clearing and opening in the respiratory tract. It has that almost touch of medicinal to the note of its scent, which I really love. It feels fresh, it feels opening, it just gives you that nice herbal touch. You also have tea tree, another very well-renowned essential oil for cough and cold season. It's cleansing, it has a bit of that deodorizing piece, very clearing, again supportive of the respiratory tract. There's pine in the formula as well. You may have heard me talk in the past about how tree scents, and what I mean by that, essential oils that come to us from the trees, so things like pine, like cedar wood, like fir, they're very well reputed for their ability, again, to support open, deep, and clear breathing. It's just, think of that idea of entering into the forest and you kind of like, and you just feel like you're breathing better and you're breathing deeper, and there's a reason for that. The trees really support us in that sense. You also have geranium in the formula. We touched on that hormone imbalance, right? So being under the weather, being sick, being ill, that is something that's helped move your body away from its center. You want to bring it back in. Geranium's nice and comforting. The last essential oil I'll mention is cinnamon. Cinnamon is almost like the secret ingredient in the formula. It's warming, it has a touch of that spice, it's absolutely comforting. It's something that you need when your body is run down, when it's not feeling optimal. It needs something to, again, kind of give it that comfort, give it that sort of familiarity that's like, hey, we're gonna give you a little hug, we're gonna give you a hug for your wellness, and it's gonna help you feel a little bit better. There's so many ways to use the product intuitively. Think of the areas where you're experiencing symptoms of cough and cold. So for me, that's the nose. I go all the way around the sides of the nasal cavity. Again, what I mentioned, the touch on the finger and just sort of underneath. I love painting a nice thick coat over the throat and the chest. I even like to just sort of hold my hand or massage it in there. Some warmth from the body will give you something really nice of feeling there. Some people do even a warm cloth, like a compress over that area to just, again, give you a little bit of extra comfort and support. Absolutely a fan of the sage breath that we just did with the stress release. So that's actually my perfectly favorite way to use this product. I do lots and lots and lots of breathing with it. And just, again, rolling into the hand, giving yourself that breathing opportunity to just open the airways, open the passageways when you're feeling particularly stuffed. The last thing I'll say about the Immune and Fortify blend is don't wait until you're feeling sick or you're feeling under the weather. It's a great product to use year round to just support optimal wellness, to keep you feeling optimally, to just keep you sort of in balance and in check with how you want to feel and how you want to support yourself. So that's a product I highly recommend. So my friends, that's going to bring us to the end of today's session. We went through 8 incredible products. All can be used in different ways to support your New Year's goals, your intentions, the way you want to think about supporting your wellness as you go forward. And of course, if you have any questions, any comments or feedback from any of the products we talked about today, it is my true pleasure to speak with you over in the comments section. Make any suggestions, recommendations, like I said, answer any questions you may have. Other than that, I'm going to say keep an eye on our social media channels. As always, that's where we share the latest and greatest, up-to-date information about the sessions we'll be hosting going forward. I am going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek that over the next few months, we're going to be introducing some incredible new products and product lines really designed to support your wellness from A to Z, from head to toe. So please stay tuned for our up and coming sessions. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week and your weekend. If you're here in Canada, stay warm. Some of our friends in the United States are in some of those chillier parts as well. Still important to get outside, take some deep breaths, get some fresh air, but keep yourself safe and supported. We'll see you back here soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.